is Maepa, the Assistant General Manager of the Public Servants Association. The Minister hammered a lot about issues of social dialogue and so forth. Minister, as we speak now, we are facing a situation where we may be having a strike in the public service because the salary negotiations currently have literally collapsed. And we are at a point where we may be seeing ourselves in a situation that we experienced in 2007 and so forth. Now, my question is, when are we going to reach a point where real negotiations in the public service in particular are such that there's honesty, there's sincerity, and there's a will to try and resolve the issues that affect both government and the trade union movement? Because I'm looking at the current situation now whereby we don't seem to agree on anything. We spend sleepless nights at the bargaining council negotiating from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the early hours of the morning, and yet nothing is achieved for days in, days out. Now, I'm not sure whether there's lack of commitment from government to try and resolve issues. And you made a very important point when you said that what is the use of going on strike for 30 days for 5%? But I may ask also the same question to say that why do you wait for strike to give 5%?
The looming public service strike and the way the negotiations are being dealt with. I know that probably you are raising that precisely because in these negotiations, it's for the first time when you find that the government has put the offer on the table based on the projection of inflation. But when that offer was tabled, it was not said, this is the projection. So at the same time, because the way they have done that, the projection was that, or the assumption was that by the end of December or January, before the end of the financial year, which is the 30th of March, the negotiations were going to be finalized. So that's why there was that particular projection in terms of that 5.8%. And then later, when they went back, then the Treasury said, no, the projection now is 4.8. So I think what we were supposed to do was to say, then how do we deal with the issues of that 5.8? But I can't speak on those who are negotiating because I have to be at the back foot for now, up until they are saying, no, you can come in and intervene. But I do advise both organized labor and also the government, which is the employer. So I have to do that. That is my responsibility. But you know, when you advise, a person can take your advice, or we can say, no, I can't take your advice. So it's up to that person to deal with that particular challenge. So I must say, I think, and I hope they are going to be able to finalize with the negotiations before they take their powers off. But at the same time, I must say, according to the report, because the acting Minister of Public Service and Administration will always call me and brief me about the progress that has been taking place. There are issues that they have agreed upon. I think the weak point is that immediately when they set aside some of the issues to be dealt with after the wage increase itself in terms of the percentage, everybody is reluctant to continue with the discussions. But you said in this particular time, they must make sure that they finalize all the issues rather than to wait for the set aside, because that creates the problem. So I do believe that also since the President of COSATU is here and the General Secretary of FEDUSA is here, they will go back and discuss with their affiliates on how they should really approach some of the issues. Maybe I can also discuss with them and try and say to the government delegation, this is the approach you have to take in this particular time. And I know and believe that they are going to encourage them again to have a multi-year agreement like we did in 2010. And because once you do that, you create a space where everybody will look at the issues that are still challenges and then say how then should we continue and resolve those issues. So let us all hope that there's not going to be a strike in this particular time. I hope and pray for that. Thank you.